All right, we will call the August 15th Park Board meeting together. Can we have a roll call, please, Beth?
Barry,
Here.
Steve, I'll mark him absent. Brad,
Here.
Corey,
Here.
Shanda,
Here.
David,
Here.
Okay, we'll move into Park Board minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve when you're ready. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and second, any discussion? Roll call vote.
Barry,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Shanda,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Okay, financials?
So all of the financials are included in the packet. If you go past the department head report, a spreadsheet I created, just the first one has our camping reservations. The top chart, if you go all the way to the far right, it just shows 2019 was the year before I got here, and then every year since. If you look at like I said, go all the way to the far right, the bottom number there, right now, actual, we're almost at $58,000 in camping revenue. Last year, we got to 61, and our budgeted is 60,500. So we're less than $3,000 away from our budgeted amount, and just under $4,000 away from our last year, what we reached. So both of those numbers will be pretty easily reachable moving forward with Labor Day weekend still to come. And then if you go down, there's a lot of different numbers here, like I said, just kind of things. The one thing that I find the most interesting is the percentage of cash. Last year, 35% of what we brought in was cash. This year we're down to 12%. That's our goal, to keep minimizing that number and get as many people as possible going online and serving that, getting that number. So I like the direction that's going. We still have to get McGregor. We still don't have that as online reservations, but it's just with the distance it's from us, until I'm able to come up with a camp host that wants to stay on site pretty much 7 days a week, that's gonna be just a tough thing to do. And then moving on for financials, the other part is just oil royalties. I'd give you an update. That number just continues to not be a great number as compared to the past. The last two months have been the smallest oil royalty months since I've been here. Otherwise, for financials, that's all I got.
The 2023 number must not be quite right, though. $7,300. Is it supposed to be 73,000?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Somehow my math is wrong there.
Oh, it just took your January number. It didn't add the rest.
I must have not redid my formula. 13.
Okay, any other financial questions for Jeremy? Okay, we will move into new business, architect, engineering, RFQ.
So we worked with Lindsay and Karen to get out our request for qualifications for architectural and engineer services for our implementation of our master plan. Those submittals were due on last Friday. We did have two firms submit, WSB and AGL. I know we're all familiar with WSB. AGL is a firm that's relatively new, but it was one of the owners of that is Brett Gerhold. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Brett Gerhold, but he was with KLJ for probably 20 years or so. And just in the last, and I think he was actually when I first moved to Williston, I worked with him a little bit, and I think he might have even been officed out of the KLJ office up here. So he's been in our area and very highly respected for a very long time. And so he's the lead, and then he's just partnered with JLG and AE2S. I do have I know that Beth sent out a link to the full ones, and I do have a couple copies if people want to look through them. It just seemed like a lot of paper to print out for everyone to see. A lot of it is standard. You guys have seen these where we have headshots and bios of every architect in there, of every person, and all stuff we requested, but you know how it goes. They want to make sure they sell themselves right, and so there's a lot of paper there. But we certainly have some copies if you want to look through them. First, to start off, there's no question. Both of these would do a great job for us. No question about that. I think that financially, they do. When you talk about money wise, it's kind of hard to say which one's exact because both of them use a little different formula to get to where you're at. With a lot of help from Lindsay, we kind of figured that WSB's amount was just over 2.6 million, with a couple things that maybe weren't quite included that they said these aren't included in there. And then AGL's was just over 2.4 million. They also had a couple things that weren't included. There was one thing of note, like soil testing and things along those lines. WSB did include, and AGL did not. And WSB put that amount as about 120,000. So if you just took that number and assumed that's what it was for AGL, now we're really close. We're talking less than $50,000 between the two of them. Again, with what Lindsay and I could figure out going through and doing the math. So financially wise, they're a horse apiece. I do think the one thing that isn't the other interesting thing about the two of them, we've worked with WSB and Candace before. She has obviously has a knowledge of this area, and through her work with us before, even though she's not located and they don't have an office here, she made her presence felt here. I believe more than adequately. But that's the one other thing that AGL does have. While AGL does not have an office in Williston, they've partnered with JLG and AE2S, and both of them have offices in Williston with boots on the ground, which we all know is a nice thing to have people that are in town. Honestly, other than that, I've called references. Everyone has great things to say about both of them. I've looked through their work. They all do. They both do good work. I'd be open for any discussion we have about what direction we want to go with these. I guess one other thing I will just for transparency, we did have when Lindsay and I wrote this up, and again Karen helped a lot. When we wrote this up, we got some examples from some other places around the state. We used examples from Bismarck and Mandan kind of as our template. And Mandan, I believe, used 2 weeks. Bismarck might have used just a little bit over 2 weeks. And so we went with that 2-week mark for how long until you had to get these into us. We did hear from a couple different firms that were interested in it, but they would have liked 3 weeks to get ready and prepared. We had already put it out and we ran with it as it was. So we think if we would have, I do believe that if we were to open it back up, we would probably get a few more. I also believe that, like I said at the very beginning, I believe both of these firms could do a very good job for us. So I don't know if I want to kick that can down the road. I do want to be transparent, but I don't know if I want to push that on any further when these two firms obviously found a way to get it into us in time.
Okay, any questions?
Yeah, wasn't there a committee that was reviewing these two?
So there's two different things. That's for the CMAR. There's a committee that we appointed for the CMAR that we have to by century code. For the architect and engineer, it's not. We don't have to bid it out. We don't. Karen can explain a lot more of it than I can. At least can explain it clearer. But yeah, that's for our construction manager at risk, and we will actually. Those are due tomorrow. We'll cover that just a little bit later in the agenda. But that's what that committee is, to select our construction manager.
So, do you have you did a great job of going all the way around.
Sometimes
So can you pinpoint it? Which one do you recommend?
I can pick one, but I can pick one if you want me to. But I just know. Like I said, I think they're both great. I do like Candace's familiarity, and that's where it comes down to. That's the one, the decision I'm trying to make. Candace is familiar, and she's, you know, we know how much she's put into this before, and she has a passion, she's shown a passion for this area and getting that done. And then the only difference, the advantage I give the AGL is that they have boots on the ground here, and I really like that. And I like Brett. I've worked with Brett before, and he's been fantastic. So there you go. Did I circle it around again?
Hey, kinda.
Yeah,
So,
I guess my thoughts were, I mean, it's a horse apiece. We've already did quite a bit with WSB. I'm just thinking, you know, why change now? As my thoughts anyway. I mean, when it's a horse piece, so I'd say stick with it myself. That's my opinion anyway. But
David?
I guess I can agree with you, Barry. To me, and just looking at this, the tiebreaker would be the fact is whether it matters or not. But with AGL having boots on the grounds, keep in mind that they also have local presence and they're also paying property taxes in Williams County. So that was the tiebreaker for me.
so you're thinking AGL? Yes. I guess I struggle a little bit with paying $2.5 million and not having somebody here. That's an awful lot of money, too. So I probably agree with David. Just the simple fact that you got somebody here to ask questions and it's not always on the telephone, and they can actually go out and look at it.
And certainly nothing against Candace. I agree, Barry. She did a great job for us. But when I look at it, I think, to me, like you said, the tiebreaker is when you got local people that are paying property taxes, I think it's right that we have to look at them also.
Yeah, do any of them, and in the name of AGL, landscape architects, do any of them specialize in non-commercial building work?
Oh, absolutely. I would say of all the firms, the only one that specializes in commercial buildings is JLG. AGL is a landscape architect firm. They specialize in civil engineering and landscape architecture. WSB is a big firm. You know, this landscape architect parks part of it is a division of them, but they build roads and they're a big firm out of Minneapolis that does that. Like I said, they're very good at doing this part, but they do a lot of things. I'd say AGL is a little more specialized to what we're doing. If you want to say, you know, that's more, I'd say if you look at their firm as a whole, it kind of matches up more with what we do, but I think WSB is just quite a bit bigger and they just do a lot of different things.
Well, what are the wishes of the board?
Just one more question. So Jeremy, you don't think we can go wrong with either one of them?
Not at all. Not at all.
How is this paid? Is this, as they do work, they get paid that amount of money, or is it, do they get paid so much per month from now on?
They have an hourly rate for their different types of workers that's doing things. So a landscape architect makes $110 an hour, an engineer makes this much an hour. And then, and it's based off that work and then also the percentage of the total bill.
Any other questions? What are your wishes?
I think I'm leaning more towards with David here, that they have a presence here in town to ask questions and be present.
Sometimes tough decisions have to be made, Mr. Chairman, so I'll make a motion that we go ahead and go with AGL Landscape Architects for our architect and engineering for the Parks project.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll
I s-
second.
Okay, thank you, Shanda. Any further discussion?
In a matter of record too, I'd just like to let it be known that there's nothing against the other one. It's a tough decision either way. And I would be fine with either one of them.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay. No further discussion. We will roll call vote, please.
Brad,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Shanda,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
And I'm here too.
oh,
and I vote
Steve,
yes. Yes.
Okay. Next item, park board position.
I did hand out, we have two applicants. Shanda has expressed interest in continuing to serve, and we had another applicant, Wayne Allen. I did hand out Shanda's letter indicating she would like to continue, and then the application form that Mr. Allen filled out. I don't know Mr. Allen, and I don't think I get to pick my bosses, so, other than the ballot box.
So two applicants present. Shanda, would you like to say anything or?
Yeah, I just want to say I kind of was in and out of the last couple meetings by Zoom. I typically try not to work on these Tuesdays. We self-schedule at the clinic and do get a day off a week, but my coworker had a premature baby and they just move things around without asking us. So I just let the scheduler gal know that I would like these Tuesdays off, and she said shouldn't be a problem now because my coworker's coming back in October, so. And I know I have the September one off.
Okay, thanks. Is Mr. Allen present? Like to say anything? Okay, I guess that's, what are the wishes of the board? Make a recommendation to the county commission for, this park board position.
I would make a motion to reappoint Shanda Harsted for the, do I need to make the dates too, or just for the position?
I'll second, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Been moved and seconded to reappoint Shanda. Roll call vote, please.
Steve, Steve. Okay, Corey,
Yes.
Bo,
Yes.
Shanda,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Barry,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Steve,
He left.
He had to bail. I just got a text.
All right.
I mark him absent here.
Probably just Mark had to leave the meeting.
What time is it?
9:18.
Okay, CMAR update.
Just want to give you a quick update. The applications or submittals are due tomorrow. And then our committee meets next week to begin to review them and rank them and review them. So really excited about the process. I don't know, it just seems like whenever these things come due, they always turn them in the very last day. But I have had calls from multiple different firms asking, when I put the word out there and notified people, there was a lot of interest in it. And then, since then, we've received some other companies that have questioned about, being a part of this. So I think we're gonna get a few responses. I'm excited about it and moving the process forward. Like I said, I think our committee meets twice next week, and to start going through these and ranking them and getting a recommendation back to this board.
Okay, good. Any questions? All right. Park updates.
Okay, I'll keep this short. I know we have some crops to get. Some people have some crops to get in. So a couple things. Those buoys for LG Sonic will be here before the end of the month. I talked to the guy just to confirm that. I gave him a call yesterday and talked to him. He said they're set to ship next week. End of next week, they're scheduled to ship. So excited about that. I will also say that the water at Epping looks, just in general, looks a lot better. There is a process to get it not on the HAB list or whatever, but when you go out there, the water just looks a lot better, and but keep moving on with that. Music in the parks, or concerts in the parks, we did have one this last Saturday at Coda Ray. It's been gone really well, except the weather. All of them have been, it's rained every day that we've had a concert in the park. Yeah, but they've gone really well. And I'll tell you what, the one other thing is that for all of the bands really comment how much they enjoy doing it, because, and I've heard this comment a couple of different times, people just sit and listen. Rather than so many of these people play at a bar or play at some other place and everyone's kind of rowdy and moves on, but these bands have commented when they come to our parks, people sit and listen and then clap after every song, and the bands are really interactive with our crowds, and just the bands really enjoy doing it. So it's gone well. We have one left on Labor Day weekend. We're at McGregor. So Elma Cook is going to be out there playing there the Saturday of Labor Day weekend. That'll be our last one of the year. But even though we've had some cold weather, we've gone on and everyone has gone and played. A couple of them had to be cut short, but it's gone really well. I did have my inspection with the Army Corps of Engineers for Little Egypt. It went really well. They are really, really particular. There was two beer cans in fire pits, and they wrote me up for it. It was a Monday morning, and there were two beer cans in fire pits, and I got written up for that. They did also, and it's something that we should have done earlier, but they did also, we did have one section of fence line that was still barbed wire that they had put up, and we should have had it done earlier, and so we made a priority, and we've already fixed that. That's all now braided wire. So anything where the public could come in contact with a fence line is now braided wire out there. So we immediately fixed that. Those are the only two things that, and I haven't gotten the written report back, but in talking to them, those are the only two things they marked against us for. I mean, yeah, there was one pallet sitting by, there was one pallet that was sitting by a campsite too. Again, it was Monday morning. So, but everything went well with that, with there. Otherwise, the grass is starting to grow a little bit more. This cooler weather, I think, has allowed the grass to grow a little bit, so we're back mowing a little bit. And I think the parks look nice. I think my guys are doing a really good job. My staff has cut back dramatically. Lost my college kids; they're done now. I have one person that works at Blacktail. She is, I think tomorrow is going to be her last day. And so I'm down to a couple of my older guys that'll get us through the fall, and then Carter, my full-time staff. But they're doing a good job. My two college kids were fantastic. I doubt I'll get them back next year. Both of them have big plans in life to move on and do great things, and I would love to get them back. But it seems like those college kids I've been getting once a year. I've been really good luck though. Really good kids so far. So, but yeah, we got a good couple months left here in the campgrounds, but we're definitely winding down.
Okay, good. Anybody have specific questions, quick? Okay. Next meeting, September 19th. I guess we will adjourn 9:23.